Got this bright idea, I gotta go to the chapters. I gotta go see this book. It's in my hand, but I want to see it in chapters. So I jump in my Jeep, I drive to Charlottetown, Prince Edward Island, head right into the chapters, head for the cookbook section. Now I'm looking all over the cooking section, and I can't find it. It's not there. But I did find it. It was way down on the bottom shelf. There were 3 copies, and they were spine out, right? So now I'm pulling all the copies off the bottom shelf. I'm taking Emerald's copies off the top shelf, and they're going on the bottom shelf. And my book's on the top shelf, and the whole time I'm just kind of standing there waiting for somebody to walk up and notice the famous author. This is 15 years ago. Nothing happens. But then I get an even better idea. Since I'm a chef and all, I can't leave the house without a Sharpie. I've always got a Sharpie in my pocket, so I'm thinking, wouldn't it be nice? Wouldn't it be cool if you went to chapters in Oshawa, and every single book in this store was signed by the author? Wouldn't that be cool? Isn't that hospitality, right? So I'm thinking that'd be a great idea. So I haul out my Sharpie and I start signing the cookbooks. Signing all the copies in the bookstore. Nobody notices, nobody says a thing. And by the way, when you sign a book, that book is now considered damaged. And the bookstore can't return it to the publisher for credit anymore, which means the author gets their royalty. And we'll get into that later, but for now, there I am in the bookstore signing all these cookbooks, and sure enough, this 5 or 6 year old little boy comes walking up. He comes around. I can just see him out of the corner of my eyes. It's like he's staring at me like, what is this dude doing in the middle of the cookbooks? And he finally works up the courage, and he comes up to me and says, "Sir, what are you doing?" I'm like, hello, young man. How are you doing? My name's Michael. I'm a big shot, famous chef. In fact, I've written my own cookbook. Here it is. See, isn't that nice? And I'm kind of a big deal around here. I'm a big chef. And he looks at me and says, "Oh, you're a cook? My mom's a cook too." And then he says, "Do you have a recipe for cookies in that book?" And I'm like, it's nice to meet you, sir. My name's Michael. I'm a big shot chef, and this book is about the day in the life of my very famous fancy restaurant. And we have pastry chefs for that sort of thing. And actually, there's not a cookie recipe. And he looks at me, he says, "Do you know how to make cookies?" And I'm like, well, of course I don't know how to make cookies, but I'm a famous. And he just walks off, like the kid just. Not impressed. That was my very first interaction as a cookbook author. It didn't go so well. And then I get another bright idea. I'm like, this is cool. The book's on the shelf now, all 4 copies. Like, we're going to sell this thing out. And I want to see what it's like to buy one of my own books. I grab one of them off the shelf, and I head for the checkout counter. And I get over there with my Plum Rewards card, and I'm standing and just as I get to the checkout, here's the kid with his mom. And he sees me coming, and he loses it. He's like hiding behind his mom. He's like, "Oh, that's the guy. Here he comes. That's the one. He's the one. He was over there writing graffiti in all the books, Mom." And Mom, he says he's a cook, Mom, but he doesn't know how to make cookies. So, I have to say that was a big moment, because right then and there, in the middle of the chapters in Charlottetown, Prince Edward Island, I made a promise to myself that I will never, ever, ever publish another cookbook that does not have a cookie recipe in it. So ladies and gentlemen, enjoy this.